What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Albion Online video. In this video I want to share with you a great holy staff build, a healing build. This is mostly a PvP build, but it can also be used in PvE activities like dungeons. But this build kind of shines if you're doing something like arenas or you're out in the world helping your guild or your teammates, whatever. But if you do want to level this up, if you're doing dungeons, this also has some unique things for dungeons and for PvE content. Before we get started, I do want to give my Discord server a quick shout out. I have an Albion Online Discord community server, so if you want to join, there'll be a link in the description. We currently have a poll for a giveaway because last week's giveaway we gave away a Black Panther and someone won that Black Panther in my Discord server, and we're currently doing a poll for this week's giveaway. So if you want to kind of give your own opinion on what kind of mounts we should give away, make sure to check the Discord. There'll be a link in the description, and just join and have fun and talk with the community. So let's get started with the build. This is a Great Holy Staff build, so you are going to need the Great Holy Staff, and I'm going to go over exactly what armor pieces I chose to complement the Great Holy Staff. For the head, I chose the Mercenary Hood. For the chest, I chose the Cleric Robe. And for the shoes, I chose the Scholar Sandals. We will go in detail exactly why I chose these and the abilities, but this is mainly the build that you want to be running for Great Holy. I do want to say that for my cape, I did go with the Limhurst cape, as well as for food, the amulets, and then we'll talk about potions in a little bit. Healing is probably the hardest role in this game, especially for beginners. A lot of beginners might not know how to use their abilities correctly or how to position correctly. And on top of that, healing is probably the main focus for all DPS as well as tanks. All healers are pretty much the backbone of all teams, and once the healer's taken down, that pretty much corrupts the whole team from the inside out. So it is very important that you need to master how to play a healer. I'm not myself like a huge healer. I'm not like a insane healer. I mainly do DPS and tank, but I do heal every once in a while if I'm required to. With that being said, let's go over the abilities for the Great Holy Staff. For my Q ability, I decided to go with Flash Heal. Flash Heal heals the target for a certain amount of health and increases the healing received by a certain percent for a certain amount of time. This stacks up twice, and if reapplied on the maximum stacks, all stacks are consumed and you restore a certain amount of energy. The reason I didn't give you specific numbers is because it depends on what type of tier and enchantment your Great Holy Staff is. So for example, for my Great Holy Staff, it is currently tier 4.2. This means that it will heal the target for 89 and increase the healing received by 10% for 3 seconds. This stacks up twice, and if reapplied with the maximum stacks, all of these stacks are consumed and you will restore 11 energy. So if you have a higher tier Great Holy Staff or a higher enchantment, these kind of stats will change, so you do have to kind of look into the weapon yourself, the weapon you're currently carrying, and see how much are the numbers, if they change a little bit or if they changed a lot. But for the 4.2 staff, those are the current numbers. This ability is your main source of healing. You're probably going to use this ability about 70 to 80% of the time. Reason being, Flash Heal has a very short cast time. For my 4.2 Great Holy Staff, it currently has a cast time of 0.8 seconds, so a super short cast time will allow me to keep healing my teammates. It also has a cooldown of 0 seconds. This allows me not to have a cooldown on the ability, so once I do a cast, I'm able to cast the ability again as soon as that 0.8 seconds are up. Since this is your main source of healing, you always want to be looking for any kind of teammates that are taking damage. Even if they're taking a small amount of damage, it is kind of worth to use your Flash Shield on them to stack up some stacks, as well as give them that extra heal. Another important thing about Flash Heal is that you can actually Flash Heal yourself. So this is also your main source of healing for yourself as well as for your teammates. And you're going to notice, especially for things like arenas or Hellgates, that everyone's going to try focusing you. So there's going to be some scenarios where you're going to have to Flash Heal yourself over and over and over and over. So this ability will allow you to heal your teammates as well as yourself with a very short cast time, plus those stacks, plus the healing bonus, the certain percent bonus. So it's a very good ability. You could use something else like the Generous Heal, but for this build, I have chosen to go with Flash Heal for that cast time. For my W, I decided to go with Holy Beam. Holy Beam channels a holy power to heal a target for a certain amount per stack. The longer the channel lasts, the more the target is healed. Holy Beam is that ability you want to use if you want to focus all of your healing power on one of your teammates. So for example, if you're doing something like a random dungeon and your tank is about to dive in to a huge group of mobs, you might want to channel your Holy Beam on them, because the longer it channels, the more health they will receive. Your E ability is called the Holy Explosion. Every enemy around you is knocked back, and up to 5 allies hit by the following Holy Explosion are healed for a certain amount of health. For the passive, I decided to go with Adrenaline Driven Charity. Every 4 activated spells, your heals become 20% stronger. The buff lasts for 3 seconds. So let's go over exactly how this kit works. So we have Flash Heal. These are used if I want to target an ally and you want to heal them for a quick cast time. Then we got the Holy Beam if you want to, focus on one specific teammate, if you want to heal them for a lot of health. If he's very low or he's about to do some cool play, you might want to use your Holy Beam. And then you got Holy Explosion if you want to kind of knock back a bunch of enemies. Your team is your team's getting dove or something, and you need to heal them all for a certain amount of health and knock all of the enemies back. Then you might want to use your E. So for Q, again, all you have to do is just press on a teammate, keep pressing your Q, and that will heal them, that will flash heal them. It'll also apply some stacks, and every time it hits 2 stacks, then you can reapply, and it will give you the bonus of restoring some of your energy. So I do want to talk about my E ability. Once you press the E ability, all of your teammates around that little circle will be healed, as well as any enemies in that circle will be knocked back. Very important in something like if you're doing like an arena and you're in one of the crystals, one of these zones that you want to capture, you might want to press your E if it's going to knock back a bunch of enemies, and knocking back a bunch of enemies can actually yield you with a victory on getting that specific crystal. I think they're called crystals or something like that. So you can capture the crystal if you use your E and you knock them all back. As well, if your team is very low and you want to heal them all, if they're all in a group, if you kind of grouped up together, you can actually press your E and everyone will just kind of start healing, and then anyone who tries diving in or doing some stupid play, they'll just get knocked back straight away. I also want to go over how to heal yourself with Flash Heal. For new players, if you want to heal yourself, you might want to do something like press Q and then click on yourself. That will actually heal yourself. The problem by doing this is that if there's an enemy close by, if he's attacking you and you accidentally click close to him, you might accidentally click to auto attack him, and that will cancel your healing. So doing this is not really effective, because again, you have to press Q and then click on yourself. You might click something else, you might accidentally move or something, and you don't want to do that. So the way you actually self-cast an ability in yourself is you press Alt as well as that ability. So to do the Flash Heal, you will press Alt and Q, and as you can see, I'm not pressing anything, and I'll automatically heal myself without having to do anything. So you can actually just move around and then press Alt Q, and that will start healing yourself. This is very important. There's going to be a lot of scenarios where there's going to be a bunch of people on top of you and you need to heal yourself. It's important to heal yourself first, then your teammates. You want to kind of have a priority on your life. You want to be alive for most of the time because you can heal your team. So you need to kind of Flash Heal yourself a bunch of times. So pressing Alt Q will cast the ability on yourself. Again, don't press Q and then click on yourself, because there might be some problems. I might click here or click there or click an enemy. You want to use Alt Q to heal yourself, and that's how you fast click and how you fast cast an ability on yourself. Now let's go over the armor pieces that I chose. For the Mercenary Hood, the reason I chose the Mercenary Hood is because it has that Cleanse. Cleanse removes all debuffs and movement impairing effects on you and allies in a close proximity. So this is very important. Heals, again, are going to be targeted by a lot of, especially CC, something like a tank or a stun, and you need to cleanse out of that, because either it's going to be very devastating for you to take all of that damage, or you need to heal your team if your team is in a sticky situation and you need to heal your team and you get something like stun. Having Cleanse will allow you to move out of that stun, kind of remove all debuffs and movement impairing effects and be able to start healing your team again. For my chest piece, I decided to go with the Cleric Robe. The reason I went with the Cleric Robe is because of the Everlasting Spirit. Upon activation, if you take damage in the next 1.5 seconds, you get an Everlasting Spirit shield. This shield makes you invincible and increases your damage and heal power by 30% for 3 seconds. This is a very powerful ability. What basically happens is if you press this ability and anybody attacks you in 1.5 seconds, there's like a window of 1.5 seconds. If anybody attacks you, you're going to get an Everlasting Spirit shield. This shield will make you invincible, so you cannot take any damage, and it will also increase your healing power by 30% for 3 seconds. I use this ability anytime I see somebody going for me, so there has been a couple scenarios where I see some kind of assassin using all their abilities in me. He went invisible, and I kind of predict when he's coming out of his invisibility. I can actually press these Everlasting Spirits, and if he attacks me, if he auto-attacks me, I get a shield for 3 seconds, and then I can start healing either myself or my teammates with that heal power increased by 30%. Very powerful ability. You can actually use this if you're, kind of getting surrounded. A lot of people are attacking you. You can press this ability. You can go invincible for 3 seconds, and you can actually heal yourself. So you can actually take no damage and then heal yourself or an ally. So it's a very cool ability and very powerful ability to have when you are a healer, especially for PvP activities. For my shoes, I decided to go with Scholar Sandals. The reason I went with Scholar Sandals is because it has the ability Run. Run increases your move speed by 60% for 7 seconds. So it's kind of self-explanatory. You need to be able to run away from sticky scenarios. So if you see a bunch of enemies coming at you, you might want to press this ability. It actually has a very long kind of ability. It's actually 7 seconds. So you're able to run for 7 seconds with that extra 60% speed. You could also use something like Energetic Sprint. What this does, it increases your move speed by 100%, but only for 3 seconds, and it also regenerates some energy every second for those 3 seconds. So if you're running like low on energy, you might want to use this ability if you want to regenerate as you kind of sprint. For the final thing, the cape, I decided to go with the Limhurst cape. The reason you want to go with the Limhurst cape is because it has the effects of restoring 8% energy per second for 10 seconds, and it activates anytime your energy drops below 40%. So once you're below 40%, if you're healing a bunch of people, this cape will activate and will start restoring some of your energy for 10 seconds. So it's very powerful for healing. You want to make sure you have enough energy to continue healing, and using the Limhurst cape will allow you to regenerate some of your energy once you drop below that 40% threshold. With that completes our build. This is the complete build here. I do want to talk about some drawbacks and some tips by using this Great Holy Staff build. One thing that is basically known about the Great Holy Staff or Holy Healing is that it actually lacks some mobility. Anytime you use your Q ability, your Flash Heal, your Holy Beam, or your Holy Explosion, you actually can't move while you cast those abilities. So it's kind of known that yes, Holy Healing is so powerful. You can actually heal your teammates by a whole lot, but you can't move and heal at the same time. There's actually some other healing builds like the Nature Healing where you can move and heal at the same time, but Holy Healing with the Great Holy Staff, you have to kind of stay in the same area. You can't move and cast at the same time. So that's kind of a huge drawback depending on the scenario you're in, but most often if you know how to position yourself and you know how to flash heal yourself and keep yourself healthy, then it shouldn't be a huge problem. Also remember that your life is basically more important than your teammate's life. Again, this also depends if you're doing some kind of activity with your friends and you need to keep that tank alive or something, or the one guy's doing some crazy play, you need to keep him alive and you might want to sacrifice your life. But in general, as a healer, you want to prioritize your life first, then your teammates. Always heal yourself if you need to. If a teammate is dying and you're about to die, heal yourself, let your teammate die. It's also kind of their job to peel for the healer. So if they're not peeling for the healer, you might want to talk to them or, quick message them saying, hey, you need to start peeling for me, because it's kind of the job of something like not really a tank, because tanks are kind of dives, but for like the DPS to kind of focus the person who is doing the healer, because you need to keep that healer alive for the DPS so you can heal the DPS. So again, your life is more important than your teammates. In most scenarios, in some scenarios, you might want to heal your teammates before you heal yourself. But in general, keep yourself alive, then your teammates. It is important to remember that you also have Cleanse as well as Everlasting Spirit. Anytime you get jumped on, you get snared, or you get silenced, you need to use Cleanse. Cleanse is a very critical ability to healing. You need to keep yourself as well as your allies alive. So anytime something happens, a movement impairing effect or a debuff, use Cleanse. Is in a very short cooldown. It's only 20 seconds, so pretty much anytime they're going to dive, you're probably going to have Cleanse up, so make sure to use Cleanse. As well as Everlasting Spirits, use this ability anytime you want to start healing yourself. So for example, if you're getting harassed by all corners and there's a bunch of people on you, you can press this ability. They're going to attack you, which is going to activate the shield for 3 seconds, and in those 3 seconds they won't be able to do any damage on you, so you can actually flash yourself over and over and over for those 3 seconds, which is going to give you a lot of health back. So make sure you use Everlasting Spirits in any sticky scenario where you are kind of stuck. There's a bunch of people on you, there's a bunch of you're basically getting surrounded or something. Use this ability to heal yourself in any kind of those scenarios. With that being said, healing always comes down to positioning and making sure your health is up to par with your allies. So most of these struggles you're going to have beginning healing is kind of positioning yourself, making sure that when they're diving you, you're cleansing, or you're moving away, or you're running, or your teammates are peeling for you, making sure you position in the right areas. If you're off position, you're going to get caught, and you don't want to get caught. So position is basically the hardest thing to do for a healer, because there's always going to be people diving on you. So you want to make sure you use those abilities such as Cleanse, Everlasting Spirit, and Run to get away from those divers. This concludes my Great Holy Staff guide. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully the gameplay in the background was kind of enjoyable as I explain all of the abilities you need to use and when to use them. Again, healing is kind of hard, but once you start mastering healing, there's always going to be a need for a healer on stuff like GVGs, ZVZs, as well as random dungeons. Healers are probably the most sought after kind of role in the game. When you queue up for an arena, if you're a healer, you're pretty much going to be instantly inside the queue or inside the game. So healing is very popular. Not a lot of people choose healing because it's kind of the boring, I guess. There's not a lot of DPS. You can't one-shot people. But if you do master healing, it is very, very critical to the game. There's going to be a lot of guilds looking for great healers, for like GVG kind of activities and stuff like that. So with this being said, this was my PvP Great Holy Staff build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you learned something, make sure you let me know in the comments below. Also, if I missed something, let me know in the comments below. I usually tend to miss a couple things in videos such as this, but hope you guys enjoyed something. And if you want to join the Discord channel, again, there will be a Discord link below. Click on it. I'm currently doing a giveaway or a giveaway poll, so if you want to kind of vote on which mounts you want to give away, make sure to go into the Discord below. With that being said, I'll see you guys later on my next video. Peace.